It's a fun day to be a Newcastle fan. You thought the Isak's saga wouldn't end? Well, let me tell you, the WISSA one continues as well. Newcastle have placed and had rejected a bid of £40 million for the Brentford striker this afternoon. This is all off the back of Isak Gate. Isak last night putting out an Instagram post. Yeah, the world exploded because Isak did a message on Instagram. It is honestly, I said this, I found it wet. Like, it's just, where are we now? Players are posting Instagram posts. But anyway, Isak made a public statement saying that he wants to leave the football club. And I have to say, I want us to sell him. Like, I just can't deal with it anymore. But Newcastle's stronger than I am. They have said, you're going nowhere, mate. No chance. Get your boots on. And that's the thing. That's the thing. Because Newcastle had to say that. Regardless of what they actually think behind closed doors. They may well want him out as well. Eddie Howe might be going, for God's sake, please sell this guy. But in the world of politics and football and pricing, you know, Newcastle had to say what they said, and I thought they backed the players, they backed Eddie Howe, they backed the fan base. They showed that they can't be, used by Alexander Isak. They did the exact right thing. Now the question is, are they actually standing true on that, and do they actually want to keep him, or have they just elevated their position politically? Because what do you want? For us to turn around and go, ring up Liverpool going, oh, did you see that Isak statement? Well, how much do you want to bid? 80 million? No, you've got to create a situation where if we are going to accept any sort of bid, Liverpool come to us and offer money for him, not the other way around. Isak living and breathing and dying by this pipe dream that doesn't actually exist. Liverpool haven't bid anything for him for months, but somehow he thinks it's appropriate to write a public Instagram post. It is just so odd, the whole situation. But what hasn't changed, regardless of what happens with Isak, is that we need a striker. Reports coming out today, I think it was Keith Downey who actually posted it first, to say that Newcastle have gone in for an increased bid for Whizzer. Reports were that they wanted 50. The reports were that they wanted 60. And at this point, the reports were that Newcastle had moved on and were looking at other strikers, one of which being Strand Larson from Wolves, who I think is a good player. I would definitely take him. I would still take Whizzer, but the difference is how much are we going to pay. Keith Downey actually said that, against popular belief, the initial bid for Whizzer was actually closer to 25 million. So bearing in mind, initially they'd said 50. We came in at half of that. So to come in at 40, we've got a lot closer than I think Newcastle ever would have wanted to get to. But because of the situation we're in, we're being forced to start paying those increased prices. And yet, they still didn't accept it. Obviously, Whizzer's been throwing his... I look like some sort of optic illusion. The lighting on my face looks weird. I'll continue talking anyway. Whizzer has been throwing his toys out of the pram. Don't agree with that either. The whole thing is just messy. It's messy. I know this was the season, our big summer window with no PSR issues. I'm talking about bringing in, maybe a skillful number 10. It's not something Newcastle have really had for years. I'd love to see us go out and spend a bit of money on that, try something a bit different. No, there's been no time for that. It has just been filled with saga after saga. I was watching Keith Downey this morning. He was down at the training ground today. There was lots of kids down at the training ground singing "Isak's a rat" when he arrived in his car. If there was a group of 10 grown men, I think it would be a bit sad. But when the kids are doing it, I don't mind having a little chuckle at that one, because I think he does deserve it. And actually got the full belt of it, didn't he, from the away stand? But yeah, the kids waiting for him at the training ground to give him a little bit of grief this morning. I had a little bit of a chuckle at that one, so well done to them. But Keith Downey was down there and he was talking about the positive atmosphere. I'm like, oh, I'm loving it. I'm glad it is. It felt fairly positive for me after the weekend, despite the draw against Aston Villa. We've brought in Ramsey, we've brought in Chow, we've brought in Elanga, who I thought looked really good. So there are some big positives to take from this window, but undoubtedly the cloud has hung over Alexander Isak and his situation. The big thing for me is if 40 million for Whizzer declined. We're that far down the road now. I'm hoping we'll go, right, okay, 40 million up front with 5 million in add-ons that he's never going to achieve. So you can call it 45 million if you want. It's still 40 million. It's still more than we should pay for a 29-year-old. But it's a player in the door who can be available this weekend, can play up front for us this season. And then the question mark on Alexander Isak, for all intents and purposes, can remain a question mark until the end of the window. If there was an opportunity to do so, to go and get Strand Larsen, or go and get, 21-year-old lad from, I don't know, Tenerife or wherever, picked up gems before, even in the Ashley days. Yeah, Perez, we brought him in. He fell off at the end, but he was good for what he did. There's got to be somebody out there who we can get on a decent deal and give them a whirl, And if we do that, I think Whizzer plus somebody else. I mean, Whizzer and Strand Larsen, I think, is enough to tell Isak to get lost, to be honest. Whizzer plus a rookie coming in, a younger player, plus a Sula, plus Gordon if we need them. I had this conversation a few days ago where I was going, even at that point, is it worth keeping Isak to try and get something out of him? But after the stunt last night, I just can't be chewed. Just really can't be chewed with it. Because it'll just haunt us all season. Oh, Isak scored, but he doesn't want to be here, Oh, here's Isak wearing his black and white top, but he doesn't want to wear that one, though. Like, the commentaries, the talk sports, the Sky, it will just haunt us. Or we'll stick him, but then I'll also say on the total flip side, if we stuck him in, I was saying this, get him in the changing rooms, cleaning up before the game, and then at the start of the game, do an announcement just to let you know that Isak's wages from this week have been donated to the dog and cat shelter on the West Road. Yay! Just totally hammer him and just make him really regret what he's done. I wouldn't mind a bit of that either. So yes, the Whizzer stuff is compounding what feels like serious negative energy in the world of Newcastle right now. I think pay the 5 million extra, get Whizzer in, and I would argue to push for another striker and just tell Isak to get lost. But once again, I'm saying this like Liverpool have actually placed a bid for him. There is no offer from Liverpool. And if there is, it's not going to be high enough for our valuation. That's what Newcastle have said. They've told Isak that, look, we've tried to create a situation to allow you to leave, but the situation doesn't allow it. Liverpool aren't offering the money. We haven't brought in a replacement at all. We've tried to. We've been gazumped about 4 times in doing so, and now we're about to pay 50 million for someone who's 29 years old and at the end of their career. So surely even Isak has to realise that now. Thoughts and comments on the Whizzer one? Are you at the stage now where it's like, look, just pay them money to have a striker so we can tell Isak to bog off? Even if we don't tell Isak to bog off, he's not going to play. Or it's going to, if he does play, it's going to be end of the window plus a month or 2. And then it's January. And then he's going to try and move then as well. So it's going to be really tough even if we do get him to integrate. I think it's going to take time. And we need to have a striker before we do so. And you could argue that if Whizzer, even if we get Whizzer in, and then he goes on the African Cup of Nations, and then Isak's still changing cleaning the toilets. So I still think we need 2, even at this late stage, which I just don't see happening. But that's what I mean. Is it worth stumping up the money for Whizzer, or do you think it's too much and we'll go somewhere else? I'm still like, we haven't been in the foreign markets at all. Like, there must be some 21-year-old wonder kids out there somewhere. Where's Minty gone? Where's the Minty version of somebody who's a striker? We've got to get our act together. Like, we've learned lessons this window, undoubtedly. I'm just seeing it flash up on my phone here, saying that Jackson's still an option. You know what? If you're paying 50 million for Whizzer, I think I'd rather pay it for Jackson. Where's Watkins? I mentioned this yesterday. Villa want Watkins. Villa want Jackson. Newcastle want Watkins. At this stage, if they're turning down 40 million for Whizzer, I'd rather pay the extra 5 million and get a Watkins, or take a chance on a Jackson who's 4 years younger and has got Premier League experience, and Eddie Howe can make something of him, or two of them. Thoughts and comments on the Whizzer bid rejected. Let me know if you think Newcastle should go back in with more, or if we'll have to move somewhere else and look elsewhere. 11 days left. Yeah. And you just know it's not over. Right, thanks for watching, guys. Thoughts on Isak again, if you fancy it, in the comments. Drop a like if you hope. You know what? Yeah, drop a like if you've enjoyed the video. Support me with a like. There's not a lot to like today, so just support me. Drop a like, help the channel out. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.